everyone. Welcome. Alright, let's get the studio set up here. There we go. There's a little sun on the side. Get that out of the way. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the No Pants Podcast. Y'all ready to sing along with the theme song? It's the No Pants Podcast. It's the No Pants Podcast. What? This is my 100th broadcast? Hello, everyone. It's the No Pants Podcast. 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 Welcome, everyone. I got gravel voice today, but I already rescheduled this from Tuesday night till tonight, Thursday. It's a recording. Let me take a sip of my alkaline water. And I was excited to share on this topic about ease. So I did not want to reschedule. Let's see how long my voice lasts. Say hi if you can hear me. Let me know your name, where you're calling in from. Well, you're not calling in. Where you're watching from in the world, how you be. I am thrilled to be recording episode number 4 with y'all on the No Pants Podcast. Why? Because in Mars, they don't wear pants. How about that for a reason? It's a No Pants Podcast. So this topic this week, for about an hour now, we'll talk about ease. Ease. And let's start with this mantra. It's an Access Consciousness mantra. And it's one of the original mantras with Access Consciousness, one of the original tools. And if you say this mantra 10 times in the morning, if you say it 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening for 30 days, your whole life will change. And not everyone wants that. And not everyone would think that that's ease, to have so much change. Maybe a topic one week will be change. But if you get over that hurdle and that judgment and that conclusion, episode number 1 was judgment. You could apply some of that to this topic today. If you are able to get over that and get to the other side of ease, then your whole life will change. So this mantra, you can say 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening for 30 days, is this: all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. So that word ease is right there in the middle of the mantra. And side note, if you'd like to practice that and have support around remembering to say that mantra every day, there's a group I created on Facebook, and the group name is All of Life Comes to Me with Ease and Joy and Glory. So you could join that and get prompts with some videos or pictures to remind you to say that every day. Hi, Jen. So, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Jen is in the group. I'm just saying how that topic today, ease, is in the mantra. So why is ease a main bit of that mantra? Why is it so important? What does it allow? What does it provide us with? Ease is the absence of difficulty. Ease is, it kind of like instills that idea of a slow change. Nothing's abrupt and nothing is hard. It doesn't indicate fast, but if Julie, if you are faster than the speed of light, then your ease may be moving super fast like that. That's how ease is more of ease for you. And if someone likes to move slow, I'm going to sneeze. No, excuse me. If ease is, whatever your rate of movement is, that's ease for you, and it will look different for you than someone else. So I love that mantra includes this idea of ease. And so if you're here listening live, I'd love for you to type into the comments what ease means for you. What does ease include and what does ease not include? And how is ease a contribution to your life? So if anything comes into your awareness, feel free to share it. If you're listening later on Facebook and you'd like to comment, please do. I'll come back and check this out. And if you are listening to the podcast audio only later, then you can comment by sending me an email, Zara@daringheartsclub.com, Z like zebra, ARAH, at daringheartsclub.com. And I will be delighted to read any of your comments and share back with you and just acknowledge you for having this awareness around ease. So I have an example of what ease means for me and how it shows up in my life. And it's pretty fascinating to me how I did not record on Tuesday as I usually do, but instead all the stuff that went down between Tuesday and now. I even actually tried to do a test. I was in the Yosemite Valley on Tuesday, and I hopped on Facebook Live for a hot minute. I was right by this rushing, overflowing water in Yosemite, and even though someone commented, I couldn't see it. I didn't have a strong enough signal to, and it was Karina. Hi Karina. I didn't have a strong enough signal to pull up what the comment said. So I took that as a sign of not having a strong enough signal, and the video is super choppy. So I was also super tired, and I had been trying to have a good snack with some beef jerky and apple and some macadamia nuts to boost my energy, to bring more ease to my body. It was struggling with fatigue, and it turns out I was very sick. I was coming down with something. So I took that time, like it was of more ease to let my body rest and not force having to record that day. And with the technical issues, I thought that was a good choice. And here's what happened in the meantime of that window. As some of you know, I've been on the road doing #vanlife since October last year, so 8 or 9 months now, living in my van, camping, being in nature 95% of the time on purpose. And so I had come from Arizona and Utah the past month or two, and I knew I had a target of joining in Yosemite in the end of May, because my aunt and her family were coming from Pennsylvania, and it was their first time seeing Yosemite and their second time ever in California, even though we've lived here for 40 plus years. So that was a big thing to go and meet them. And my parents came up and my sister came up from San Francisco and Oakland. So then my plan, since January, I think my family got tickets to Hamilton, the musical, and it took all day for them being online and getting these tickets when they first were released, Hamilton in San Francisco. And so at that time I was like, yeah, sure, that'll be a good reason to come to the city and hang out with y'all. But that was before I also chose to come flat to San Francisco for Magic Camp and go to Thailand in February. And that was before I knew I was going to see my family in Yosemite this last week. So here's where ease, or the absence of ease, was giving me a really awesome heads up that something could be shifted and chosen differently. I was in a state where, what's the point to do my business? What's the point to be creative? What's the point of any of this stuff? I was kind of blah, and I didn't have that usual spark and delight for creating as I have become accustomed to, in the last year or so, where it's very easy to see an option and take a choice. And I was on a call with my coaching group and listening to everyone share and my reaction to everything, and just being around this collaborative, contributing energy. I got to ask some questions when I was listening to everyone else, and I realized my body does not want to go to San Francisco. My body would choose to not go to San Francisco. I think my body really likes the arid air of the Southwest, and now that I've been in California for a little bit, that might be one of the contributing factors for me getting sick. And so my body really wanted to go back to the arid part of the country and not into San Francisco. When I went there in February, I could feel the moisture in the air, and it's like little stabbing knives in my throat when I breathe. And so even though the temperature might be different this time of the year, I was not looking forward to it. And it's a city, it's not nature, so I had been holding on to the plan from January that I would participate with my family in June and go see Hamilton. And it's one of those things where, like, tickets are so hard to get, and you have a ticket, and so there's that interesting point of view of what is someone else going to think of you if you turn that down, or what coolness points are you going to lose if you don't actually see it, like that FOMO, fear of missing out kind of thing. And so I realized, like, those are tertiary reasons to see or not see Hamilton. And I just got to see my family, so that was less of a urgent need, because I got lots of hugs from them. So the part of ease that comes into this is the ease of choosing what my body desires, and remembering that choices are for 10 seconds, and then when we step into that choice, we're in a new position, and we get to have a new set of awareness from that position. And so what else do you become aware of once you take action on a choice? So the ease of choice and taking action is also the ease of checking in again after 10 seconds, like, okay, now what am I aware of? And now what is of ease? So that had all shifted since seeing my family in February and seeing them right now in Yosemite. So as soon as I realized that my body did not desire to go to San Francisco, it actually desired to go to New Mexico, then everything changed. I now had that spark again to be creative. I now had that spark again that there's possibility and there's choice and there's wonder and there's creating and there's experimenting and there's life. So I invite you to take a look around. Like, if there's difficulty and consequences, like tribulations and challenges in your life, how many of your choices have you locked into place or taken for granted, or you're not looking at with the eye of possibility and option? It's just there, and quote unquote, there's nothing you could do about it. There's always something you could do about it. And what if that's what ease is? Whew. All right, so thanks for letting me share that story with you. The ease came when I made the tough decision to not go to San Francisco and spend time there, see my family, see friends. I had already reached out to do a few business things as well, but it just didn't feel like it would be productive contribution. So even though it's a really tough decision, and then I was sad for a bit, thinking about not seeing my family and not meeting up with some friends, there's still the ease that my body appreciates and the possibility of creation, including artistic things, financial things, and connections in New Mexico. Those are now prevalent and have come back to the surface when I was in a position of not choosing ease, kind of being in denial of what was possible, what my options fully were. That's when my body shut down and my creativity shut down. So if you're noticing any of those symptoms, where are you not willing to choose ease instead? So, for example, kind of similarly, one of my friends moved out of her home and went like 5 states over to stay with her family. And it was meant to be temporary. And she was sharing that it was getting very stressful and uncomfortable, and her options were to move in 3 or 4 months. And she was not acknowledging that she could move tomorrow. Like, she could take off and be on the road again tomorrow, the next 5 days, within a week or two. So for some reason, those were not options for her. But if you let everything be a possibility, how much more ease does that create for you? Yeah. So the definition of ease in the dictionary is the absence of difficulty. And wouldn't that be a lovely way to live life? The absence of difficulty. And I like to point out too that there's a difference between ease and easy. So let's do a few examples of that. What's the difference between ease and easy? And we're going to a new topic, so let me do some interlude music. New topic, new example. The difference between ease and easy. All right, let's see. Easy is like no problem, no brainer. Also kind of no responsibility for consequences. That's kind of the energy I get around ease. So an example of that is, oh my gosh, I met this woman, and I had my dog with me, Callie. I had Callie with me, and she was saying how kind and nice and quiet Callie is, because she is. She's like a doggy. And that at home she has a couple dogs that will not leave her alone. She's eating, and they just will not go away. And she was commenting that her partner, they listen to him and they don't bug him. But these two dogs are like all over her and annoying her, basically. And so she gives them a piece of food so that they'll go away. She gives them a piece of food so that they'll go away. So do you think she had a contract or an agreement with the dogs? Did they agree that they would go away if they give her food? Or is it more like, hey, we stood here and we stared her down and we got food, so let's do it again. I'm going to stare her down again and like tap her, jump on her legs and bark a little bit, and maybe we'll get more food because it worked last time. So I was like, oh, really? You think if you give them food, they're going to go away? Maybe that's easy in the moment. There's an example of easy. It's just like, here, go away. But that's not really teaching the dogs how you'd like to be treated. So my dog sits with me at dinner in public restaurants, on my lap with her head down, laying down the whole time. And as food comes and goes, she does not look up once. She does not beg for food. She does not ask for food. She does not get food. And that's the key. So for me to have ease, where I can have a relaxing, enjoyable dinner, and if I'm with friends or family and have a discussion with them and not be distracted by a dog yelping on my lap, I have been consistent in not giving my dog food at the table. So even though it would be really easy to give her food and it'd be really cute and it could be a way to show affection for her and like a good job, because she's a treat for doing a good job of being quiet, that could reinforce her not sitting quietly laying down in my lap during a meal. So it wasn't easy to ignore when she was interested in food, and it took a few times going to restaurants. She also will sit under the table and she'll curl herself into a little ball and stay there until the meal is over. And at first she would want to sit up and she'd want to walk around and she'd want to sniff crumbs. Like some places there's like a meal under the table of crumbs from other people still. But by me being consistent, it wasn't easy, but it created ease, because now, because I was consistent and I said for her to lay down, and I didn't engage her when she wanted food, then now it's very much of an easeful thing to take her to a restaurant and have her be quiet and not try to get any food. So it also, like, I think that goes with all dog training. There's that upfront work. So there's effort, but the payoff creates ease. And it also reminds me of parenting styles. There's those parents that are like, I'm best friends with my kid. And some kids say like their parents are pushovers because they'll ask for whatever they like, and the parents don't like confrontation, so the kid can get what they like if they speak up. And then there's parents who say, I'm not my friend, I'm not my kid's friend, that's not my job, I'm their parent, I'm not their friend. So they will do that thing that's a little bit more difficult in the moment of saying no, having boundaries, having consequences for choices for their kids. And over time, those parents feel that they are providing a more broad, valuable lesson for their children. And a disclaimer, I don't have kids, so I don't know the difficulty of doing one way or the other, but I am aware of the upfront work and the payoff and that shift, especially if you choose to do one way to the other way. So whatever creates more ease for you, and if you're a parent and you're distinguishing between ease and easy, and whatever you're aware of for you that works for you, go for it. So yeah, that ease, that's a huge thing of, if we just chose what was easy, we might be watching cartoons all day on the couch and ordering food to be delivered to our house, and saying yes to whatever was easy and fun, and saying no to whatever was responsible and took effort and work. But then we don't get to create. We don't get to create in the way that shows and showcases our gift that we're brought here on the planet to deliver and offer. As I take a sip of water, if you have any comments or questions or anything that resonates with you, I'd love to hear it too. All right. So let's use right now as an example. Like, I'm coughing a little bit. It's not easy. It's not easy to do a podcast ever. It's not sitting and watching TV. It's not having bonbons served to you on a couch. But it creates ease in my life because I get to be visible, even if it's auditorily later as a podcast, or visible now on Facebook Live. I get to share what's changed my life, tools that might create more ease in your life as well. And I get to connect with people who are seekers, who like to change the world, change their lives, and they know something better can be available than what is right now. So even though this is a bit difficult on my voice and my schedule and it's definitely the choice that brings more ease, because I'm freaking delighted to be recording episode number 4 weeks in a row of the podcast, after having the idea of some type of podcast, for sure called No Pants Podcast the whole time, but the content had sometimes been up in the air. So being able to take this time, this is a choice of ease. And it's kind of like a muscle, working the muscle. The more you choose it, the more easy it becomes. So, let me do a little interlude music. Right before this call, right before this podcast, I got to talk with my friend Jess, and you could find her at jesslaine.com, L-A-I-N-E, jesslaine.com, JESSLAINE.com. She is a brilliant interior creator, artist, very, very focused on automation as she runs her business. She's an entrepreneur, and creating simplicity in her life. And so it was very fascinating asking her, what does ease mean to her? And I was like, ooh, when she said a few of the things that came up for her. So this idea of ease, it just creates more in her life. Let me see if I could pull up my note. When you really know yourself and take action when things don't feel right, they don't feel of ease, that's a great gift of this idea of ease, is because if there's not ease happening right now, what do you know about yourself that you can shift into having ease? So, like I mentioned, for me, going to San Francisco, I didn't even know it was because of that. I thought I was just getting depressed generally and about who knows what, but when I asked questions, I realized, oh, it's because I'm going to San Francisco and my body would like to not go to San Francisco. So knowing that about my body, knowing to ask questions, knowing to not be stuck in a conclusion like, oh, you just have depression and there's nothing you could do about it. What if there was a choice you could make that created ease? And so any anxiety you had or depression you had is just based on trying to follow someone else's rules and regulations, or follow those conclusions and rules and judgments that you bought into and now you're perpetuating for yourself. So what ease can you choose that would change your whole life? So I love how Jess said that paying attention and really knowing yourself helps create more ease. And then she shared how, we met a few years ago and she was always adding new automated apps or features to her workday, and up into including having a virtual assistant. And so how much ease did that create for her to focus on the creative part of her business, and the things that could be done by robots and computers could be done by robots and computers. So that simplifying, it included, she said, getting rid of articles around her house, like decluttering, letting go of projects. She started listing on her blog great creative projects or business ideas that was just the fun of coming up with them and then releasing the idea into the world. So she would, for a period of time, she was sharing creative projects or business ideas, spelling out all the details on her blog and offering them up to whoever wanted to run with it. Like, go for it, because the fun of creating the idea had already paid off for her. And now if she held on to it, like this obligation of having to complete something with it, then that would take away any of the ease that was in the creation of the idea. So she was mentioning getting rid of things, simplifying life, and that even included, it can even include, excuse me, cough time. That can include stopping consuming foods or drinks that your body doesn't appreciate, like alcohol, sugar, wheat, things that are high allergenics, things that your body just particularly doesn't like. So that's a simplification that creates ease. And then adding in knowing yourself, like, are you someone who likes, who, if you move your body, you get a huge payoff? Like, do you need to move your body in order to, do you need to move your body in order to operate the most efficiently? So Jess got into yoga again, and she's been meditating for 1.5 years. So that's really helped her know and connect with herself, and it helps with that awareness of, like, what can you choose that will bring ease. And I love this idea of simplifying, because how much more ease do you have when you don't have to make a decision, because there's not a pile of something in front of you. So my college degree is in environmental studies, and it's the urban side of the environment. It's in recycling, integrated waste management, and the integrated part means that there's a few streams that our waste can go to. And this is related, hold on a second, to ease. So there's a hierarchy of how to address waste. And the highest, most efficient way to address waste is for it to not be created in the first place. So that's reduce. And then reuse is the next idea. Reuse has gotten confused with recycle in the last 10-20 years. So reuse is what a lot of people refer to recycle, but there's a difference. So reuse is like a piece of paper. It's printed on one side, you don't need it anymore, you flip it over and you take notes on the other side. You make your grocery shopping list or whatever on the other side. That's reuse. And the difference between reuse and recycle is that if you want to recycle that piece of paper, you send it to the recycling factory. They use water to pulp it down and remove the inks, and then it's sent to the reuse paper making factory, and it's pressed into new paper, and then it's shipped back to stores so you could buy it again. So you notice in each step of that process, there's also trucks moving materials around back and forth till it's finally the paper being delivered back to the store, and then you have got to drive to the store to buy it again, or walk, hopefully. But so the reuse versus the recycle. Reuse is you're in the same location, you're not driving anywhere, the paper isn't being driven anywhere, and you flip it over and you write on the other side. And the recycle is like this effort of getting all the materials to the next location. So it's great. Recycle is just a more trendy word. It's more romantic than reuse. But everything at a thrift store is reuse because it hasn't been broken down into its molecules or particles to be recreated into something else. It's just like cleaned and used again. So the hierarchy again is reduce, like it doesn't even have to exist in the first place, reuse, recycle, and so that idea of simplifying your life, if you reduce what's even there so you don't have to process it, like there's nothing to ship to a recycling center, there's nothing to break down. If this is your life, there's nothing to dust. If you have fewer tchotchkes in your house, if you have fewer books that one day you're going to read, and like you check in with yourself, like, truth, am I going to read this book? Truth, having this book, does that bring me income? Truth, if I get rid of this book, how will my life be in 5 years? So checking in on what value does something bring you, and maybe it does, but this idea of simplifying, is it going to cost you more to store it, to clean it, to move it around? What are you hiding from by having a whole bunch of belongings to keep track of, to manage, to clean, to move around, to put into storage, to take out of storage, to have insurance on, whatever? Like, what can you create instead if you weren't managing inventory? So that's an idea of simplifying and creating ease. So this idea of ease with simplifying, the absence of stuff can really help create more ease in life. And I guess with all these topics I discuss, there's this connect or disconnect between choosing to trust that you have this awesome, amazing gift to share with the world, and if there's any blockages in the way of allowing that to come forth, then everything I talk about is going to sound foreign and what's the point and mumbo jumbo. So I just wanted to point that out. That just popped into my awareness, that there's some level of believing that it's kind of rubber band stretch that you can do these amazing contributions that only you could do to the world. And so, side note, if there's some weird irrational or super rational, lots of order around why you can or can't do something, or there's some irrational reason, like you know how to do stuff but it just doesn't get done, and you'd like clearing around that, contact me. You could leave a comment here, you can message me in Facebook, you could email me if you're listening to this later, Zara@daringheartsclub.com, and just let me know that you would like clearings because something is blocked. And there might be that disbelief of the possibility of ease. So if you have that disbelief, let me know, because I have an easy way, a way of ease to get you to the other side of that. All right. So, ease, ease, ease. Does anyone remember the mantra still? All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. So I love that distinction. It comes to you. So if you are one of these people that are always out chasing, hustling, going after, running, what if it didn't have to be that way? What if everything could come to you? How much more ease would that bring in your life? And what distractions would you be letting go of, thinking you had to hustle and create and chase? What if you could create by simply being? What's your magic energy that you just be and stuff comes to you? How much ease is there? I want to give a shout out to my friend Sophie, I believe is Sophie, who shared in the comments when I asked my Facebook community about what does ease mean to you, and she shared that ease is like excitement and delight, things along those lines, which I really love that idea of ease. Like, it really sounds like ease is generative and creating, and it offers those side benefits of delight and excitement and the alignment and everything, just because you allow ease to come into your life. Let me check my notes. The absence of rigidity and discomfort. Ease, the absence of rigidity and discomfort. Which, this rigidity reminds me of chaos and order continuum. And I believe I discussed chaos and order with the Create podcast. But a quick synopsis is that everything in nature, as an example, happens from chaos. There's no agenda, but the next right thing always steps in and takes place. And then order is when we have all these rules, laws, regulations. It's very confining. You have to stay in the box. You can't color outside the lines. And so this rigidity reminds me of that. If things are feeling very strict, rigid, confining, take a second to look at your life and where is there too much order, and really you create from chaos. And so even though it sounds counterintuitive, even though chaos sounds messy, it's really havoc that's messy, and chaos is just the ball rolling and the next thing always happening and taking place. So how much ease is there in chaos? Whew. And so as a final thought here, let's pull all these stories and ideas together about ease. That idea that ease is like a slight baby step by baby step introduction. Like instead of doing a cannonball into a pool, you're sliding your feet in, you're slipping into the pool nicely. Let's even call it a hot springs. Slide right into the hot springs. A delicate, just like fireworks as an example. A lot of times, and because of what happens in movies, because they need big visuals to get their point across, we expect in our life that there's going to be a big fireworks to happen also. And I invite you to pay attention to the subtle nuances instead. Like, what is happening with ease that if you acknowledged it, you'd realize just how awesome and fluid and flowing your life is. So all these small choices, like my friend Jess was talking about with simplifying, choosing to get rid of a book, choosing to go through your wardrobe and only keeping 30 pieces, choosing to stop watching the news because it just is so depressing, and it could lead you down a path of depression and having no hope in the world. What if you eliminated exposure to news like that? Would that create more ease for you? And what would you be able to contribute to the world for it to change so that maybe one day we turn on the news and it's all good news, like world peace is announced? What would it be like if one day we turned on the news and world peace was announced? Not just the absence of all war, but something even greater where there's just a connection with all people. Hi, sister. So this idea of small things adding up. What small choices can you make that accumulate over time to create ease? So it's not just having a smaller wardrobe, it's not just having a smaller bookshelf, it's not just having fewer electronic gadgets, fewer electronic games, programs, TV shows, Netflix, whatever, to distract you, to take your attention. adding in yoga, adding in meditation, adding in access consciousness tools, whatever works for you. What ease do you get, and what ease accumulates over time because you're making small choices? And this is a very different process than in the movies where there's fireworks when someone kisses, or there's a pivotal moment where someone's life changes, a 180 because of one incident. So I just like to invite you to see what else is possible when you let things unfold in a very nuanced, subtle way. And those small choices accumulate over time, and your life shifts and changes with ease because of that consistency. So if you have any questions before we get off here, before we get off the Facebook Live, share with me, what does ease mean to you? And what resonated with you this hour for listening to the No Pants podcast about ease? And remember, if you're listening later, you can email me at Zara@daringheartsclub.com, Z like zebra, ARAH, at daringheartsclub.com. Woohoo! Alright, so let's see, what else is ease? Ease on down the road. The Wiz version of The Wizard of Oz. Ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. Come on, ease on down the road. See? Don't carry anything that will be a burden. Simplify. There's very wise words there. What is the Wizard of Oz version of that? Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow. So I love the remake, The Wiz. Instead of following, you get to ease. Do your own mofo thing. So let's close with an energy pull. And I share a lot of energy pulls on my Instagram account. You'll see 30 listed there so far. The Instagram account is at Zara Darling. And energy pulls allow stuff to come to you. So it's great to invite in ease. So wherever you are, if you can close your eyes or lay back or put your feet up or just sit, just get comfortable and relax your shoulders, relax your hips, relax your ankles, relax your jaw. Take a deep breath into your body and see what you're aware of. And find where in your body there is ease already. And then vibrate that part of your body, vibrate the molecules in that part of your body, and expand that ease through your whole body. Expand space between the molecules, expand space between the cells in your body. Just create more and more ease, expansive ease. And when your body is filled with this vibrating ease, I invite you to expand it out past your body. So it's like 3 or 4 feet all around you in all directions. In front of you, behind you, above you, below you, into the earth. All this ease. And now expand so you're like filling up the whole neighborhood you're in with ease, and the whole city and the state. Just keep expanding. till the country you're in is filled with your ease, this vibration you're creating and amplifying. And then the whole planet, so this energy is going into the earth, up into the atmosphere, and now it's going to the other side of the planet and up into the stars, galaxies, solar system, past planets we know about, past planets only you know about. And so now that you're expanded in all this space and you've brought along this vibrational energy of ease, check in and see where else there's ease in the world, in your state, on the planet, in the universe. And you'll recognize it. Like, you'll get a little tingly feeling somewhere in your body. Like, there's some ease, there's some ease, there's some ease. And now pull all the energy of ease from the universe through your body. Pull it through the front of you, out the back of you. Pull it through the back of you to the front of you. From one side to the other. From the other side back. Up your feet, out of your head. From your head down into the earth. So just this ease from the whole universe is swirling around you again and again. And it's refilling you where your ease was. There's more and more ease. So, if you're ever like, where the crap is my ease, yo? Expand out and find it in the universe. It's there. Thank you for joining me for the No Pants Podcast, episode number 4. Ease. Even doing the podcast this way is of ease for me. No special equipment except this ukulele. You ready to sing out with me? Here we go. Thanks for being here for the No Pants Podcast. It's the No Pants Podcast. You just listen to the No Pants Podcast. You rock. You rock and you roll. Here's my new pick, Yosemite. Mwah.